Just as I'm drinking water.
Do I call you TL or do you want me to call you another name?
Hey, True
Lifestyles.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
This is actually a real treat because we usually don't have all these nice special guests. So we have True Lifestyles. Be sure you subscribe to her channel.
Absolutely.
And Bruce Smirnoff, who is a famous retired comedian. He knows tons of people from showbiz, famous comedians. He can also regale us with a lot of great stories from his profession. So Bruce, how are you feeling?
I feel fine, and it's good to hear your voice. I was getting used to Kung Fu Judy, but now, hearing you normal is okay.
Yeah, well,
I actually like Kung Fu Judy. It was a good voice.
Yeah, just like moving my lips, not in sync with the talking and stuff. Yeah, well, I got roped into a last-minute live stream show with Mentor Lawyer, so I did that, and I was talking a ton over lunch with Fancy and Katie Cool Lady, and so anyway, so I'm happy to let you guys take over and talk.
I have a question, Judy.
Yes.
I mean, it's nothing bad. Let me preface
something
it.
personal.
Not personal whatsoever. It's all about this case. But I had seen you on Surviving the Survivor exactly 1 year ago.
Oh.
And I believe that I had researched the quote, and I told you I would. And the quote was, they could just say, Sigfredo and Lewis could just say that they did it on their own. Charlie's defense could say that Sigfredo just did it on their own, but that would be grasping at straws. Did you ever in a million years think that this defense would be this complicated as it was?
No, I had no idea, because I always thought that they would just blame it on Wendy. I mean, I think that's a lot more credible to say that, look, this is something, Charlie's a busy guy. He's got better things to do. It benefited Wendy. She's the one who was involved and friends with Katie. They did this behind his back because he's so busy working. So, by the way, how's the sound? I feel like there's some reverberation or something. Any sound problems, you guys?
It's pretty good. All right, I'll check on the chat.
Okay, yeah, I think it's fine. I can see the chat right here. Yeah, so Bruce, have you actually been watching everything this week?
What do you think? Of
yes.
course, my whole life are all of you people. It's pretty sad, but it's
okay.
I'm, again, like I've told you, Judy, I've never been into a case before. I lived in LA at the height of the OJ thing, and it meant nothing to me. I only remember the day of the verdict. So I've been in cities where there have been giant trials, but nothing has affected me like this one, because I used to work on cruise ships. My career was so powerful, I wound up performing on cruise ships. And I worked for a lot of very wealthy, entitled people, and they're extremely nice. And they're just like the Adelson family. And that's what struck me, is that here is a family that got so nutty that they really thought that they could do what they did. And that's what brought me in, because everyone I know was so nice. They would never dream of doing something like this. But now when you see this, it just blew my mind. That's all.
I have another question for Judy. Sorry to interject, Bruce. And I am so excited to meet you, by the way.
Likewise.
Happy to share this live with all of you. Judy, there is a chance that they could submit some mistrial this weekend. Do you anticipate? Well, that's what they said in this meeting. Is there any chance that there could be some kind of curveball, like a mistrial?
That would be very strange. Like, usually, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a criminal defense expert, so yeah, but isn't that usually like something went wrong with the jury? Like they find out that some juror's been like watching Judy YouTube Lawyer and deep dive through crime and posting.
That's what I wonder. I just wanted to know, just because in terms of all this new frontier of media, Is there anything that you could foresee that could stop this from going on into Monday? Nothing
No.
to do with us or anything.
Yeah, no, I
No.
mean, I fully expect there to be a continuation on Monday with the
Mhm.
closing arguments, and then just, of course, Rashbaum, I'm sure he still has to make a motion for a directed verdict, or,
Yes.
just dismiss it. There's not enough evidence,
Okay.
just to get it on the record. I
Okay.
think that's what they usually do before you head off to the jury deliberations.
Yes.
Then the jury is instructed by the judge about all the things that they have to make a decision on, like
Yeah.
elements of the crime. Yeah, so this is just general knowledge. I mean, I don't practice in Florida, so I'm just kind of like, well, this is just based on what I recall learning and seeing in the courthouses where I've practiced. So yeah, but let's see. So Bruce, are you feeling optimistic or are you worried?
Well, again, I don't know law very well. I did call you.
That's
Remember,
okay.
I called you.
Yeah, I know, but pretend like you didn't talk to me.
Because I woke up late today and I started to watch the trial, and it looked very lackluster, but I don't know anything about technique or what lawyers do. And I was just waiting for like a Perry Mason moment, like you said before, and I didn't see any. And I go, whoa, what's going on? Are we losing grasp? Charlie seemed to answer every question, without getting hysterical or twitching or like he's normally doing, all that stuff. And I just couldn't interpret it. I don't have the intelligence to interpret all that stuff. But you took care of it for me. Yeah.
Do you feel like Charlie was more alert today? I think that a lot of people felt as though he was less sedated,
like medicated.
He was more
alert.
Yeah,
he was on his game because that's all he's done his whole life is spin a tale and lie and just, jabber on and on. He's the gibbers. So I think Charlie was really soaking it up and really enjoying it, actually. Like, I've already rehearsed this in my jail cell for the last year and a half, and I got an answer for everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So just because
he certainly looked like he had a lot of time to really just totally memorize this. And it's like he learned his lines. He didn't flub at all.
Yeah. But that's okay. I mean, you don't sure, he responded much better than your average, uneducated criminal defendant. But that doesn't mean the jury doesn't get it. The jury knows this guy is, he's got to be smart enough to have passed these boards. And, I don't know about how he got into dental school, but he's still, got his license. So he's no dodo. And he knows how to talk and convince people. So
Judy,
they can see
love
through.
what you said earlier in your live about Georgia calling him doctor. I think that it really was kind of in a kind of condescending way because of what you said, that the jury, was what did you say? You said something about it makes them see him in a different light.
Or maybe just feel like, hey, this is just some like really rich upper class guy who has a lifestyle that is full of prestige. And, somebody got mad and said, well, there was some commenter that seemed kind of turned off by my comment about that. Like, it's not about the kinship that people feel with the defendant. I mean, they're not supposed to be basing their decision on kinship. But I think that still happens where, we're humans. If you see somebody seems like they could be your friend or your relative, then you might, judge them differently compared to someone who is from a totally different social class, different race. It's not supposed to play into it, but I think it does.
Were either one of you
judge people?
I liked what you said.
Were either one of you in the courthouse today?
Yes. Yeah, we were there.
Did you notice anything of the jurors? Were they super focused? Did they seem like they've made up their mind? Any of those kind of?
I don't know how you can tell if they've made up their mind, but like, it's not like anyone's actively like really like shaking their heads or grunting or whatever. And we're actually seated pretty far back because there's a lot of room between where the jury box is and then where the prosecutors sat. And then there's still more room before the barrier.
I will say something interesting. A couple of us picked up on that. Like we would look down and then look up, and then all of a sudden we would just kind of like almost lock eyes for a second with the juror, but like not intentionally, but they would be kind of looking at us too, like at our reactions. And there was some big deal about us not nodding our heads. Like the day that I had just walked in, they had made a big fuss about not nodding or agreeing with the prosecution, and like too much body language and stuff is a big no-no in the courtroom, I guess. But it was mostly the people surrounding Ruth, and it was in good intentions. And then I think it kind of calmed down after that, maybe like the third or fourth day of trial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the time when I saw them, they just looked the same. They're all like kind of frozen with these like intense looks, or, you know, just soaking it in.
They might kind of like touch their face. Like I saw the little eyebrow furrows, like really?
Yeah.
A little like mouth.
Like pouting or
like
something.
Like a questioning faces a lot of times, or sometimes intent, like interested in the wiretaps. I think that they were, I don't want to use the word entertained whatsoever, but just at first interested, and then just bored out of their minds, just totally ready to go, checked out.
That was yesterday with the monotony of the interview.
Yeah,
Charlie going on.
Gosh, it feels like ages ago. It was a long day.
That was Chinese water torture.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's flash up this because I do like to, you know, acknowledge the people out there who make this channel, you know, our community and stuff. So I was just looking because unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but it's been such a crazy week, and suddenly I'm getting tons more views on my videos, as you are too.
Mazel tov, both of you. Good, you deserve it.
Keep up with all these comments and stuff. So Glamis Girl said, "The blame Charlie for the murder equals blackmail, a special type of extortion. The we're going to hurt your family, so pay up equals extortion. I believe Georgia pressed Charlie on this distinction, blackmail versus extortion, to, I guess, compel Charlie to define what actually happened, what actually occurred. So the jury will definitely, hopefully, see how ridiculous this plot is, that of starting the extortion plot with murdering a professor 450 miles away, not related to the Adelsons any longer." Yeah, well, I think it was Charlie who said that there's a distinction between blackmail versus extortion, but I haven't had time to look up the legal definition. So, but anyway, either way, Georgia just kept rolling with it, and she was like, okay, we'll call her the extortionist then. You know, let's refer to this as extortion. But yeah, I mean, it seemed like Georgia was very on her game and prepared for Charlie's, you know, long-winded explanations and trying to weasel out of flat out answering things. So I thought it went well. There's not going to be some giant, you know, suspenseful aha moment like you see in the movies.
That's all I see are the movies when I see these cases. So I'm going to go along with you. I agree. It'd probably be very mundane, and the jury gets the job done, and hopefully they get it done the way we want it.
I see that you guys are talking about the closing arguments. Who do you think will do the closing arguments? Because I talked about that a little bit in my live. I don't know. I think it'll be Sarah because she did a great opening. What do you all think?
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
I'm just guessing Kappelman just because she's more senior. And, you know, this is like a case she's been working on since who knows when, you know, before 2019. So, but either one, I think both of them are pretty amazing. And it's kind of cool seeing both of them. They look like they could be like former models. They are so tall and slender. And
Sarah was wearing her Beatle outfit yesterday with the black suit with the white shirt with the skinny black tie loosened.
Looked like it was so cool. Yeah.
Oh,
I did notice that. But one thing that criticism they gave to Georgia Kappelman was that she wasn't passionate enough. And then I think that once Sarah came on to Katie's second trial, she has that passion and that excitement. I think that they complement each other very well. But then Georgia has that calm, cool, collected vibe and builds up a case. So it'll be interesting to see if they go with Sarah. I think it's because they want that passionate closing, that emotional poise that she has, or it'll be very strategic, I think.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I guess there's like a generational gap here. Would you like to explain what a Beatle outfit is, Bruce?
I think if you look at A Hard Day's Night, it used to be a group called the Beatles. They were around in the 90s.
Way back in the days.
In my day. And I think one of their albums,
you have missed out.
They used to wear tight white shirts with skinny ties and black suits, and what's called Beatle boots, which are like semi-heeled boots. So that's where it was.
Okay.
I think they sold a few records.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was a famous rock band from the 60s.
They actually have a new song that was released this week, and they were able to take the AI of John Lennon on an unfinished song, and it was released. I believe it was released yesterday. I heard it yesterday. It might have been the day before, but yes, all these years later. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do want to address Jude. Thank you so much for always commenting, but I don't have memberships. So I think you might be confused with a different channel, like maybe Deep Dive True Crime or STS. So I don't have members here because I just don't have time to do that extra work to have member benefits.
May I interrupt? Jude,
yes.
Contact me. I love to talk and I know nothing. So feel free anytime you want.
And you can pay to be a member of Bruce's special.
It's all free.
Patreon
It's all free. I
membership.
just sit here with the cats. So you can bother me anytime you want. And I have absolutely no knowledge of law. But I'll give you my
There's also
answer.
a song called Hey Jude by the Beatles.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Hey Jude.
Don't be
Don't
afraid.
be afraid.
Okay, take a sad song, make it better. Okay, so Georgia seemed rushed today, like she just wanted to get it over with. Did you get that feeling?
I did, yeah. It just was so. It was
Channeling
so quick.
anger.
Mm-hmm. I think it was quick because she wanted to like hit the highlights, the ones where it was so obviously a lie. And just by framing her questions the right way, she was able to repeat it to the jury. This is what the objective evidence showed, but look, he's still lying. Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm totally biased. So this dude was just getting on our case saying that you guys, you're part of that group of YouTubers who already got your mind made up and just, just a bunch of cheerleaders, something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, it's our channel, my channel, your channel, you can do whatever you want if you want to give a different perspective.
Well, honestly, this case is, let's face it, this is a pile on of like, we are most of us of the same mind. And I don't blame people who, I mean, if anyone was Team Charlie, it would feel overwhelming to be in a courtroom where it seemed like most people want Charlie to pay and they're outnumbered. So sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, I mean, if you want objective facts, then you can watch, I don't know what. I mean, even the Vinny Court TV, he's had lots of guests that were pretty much, pro Markel, anti Adelson, Charlie's going down, Wendy's guilty, those types of people. But, I mean, it is what it is. So you can create your own alternative media source if anyone's so upset.
Julie Janae last night, trying to be very objective and unbiased. But I mean, you can kind of see the smile on her face as she's trying to explain what happened that day. It's comical. I mean, Bruce, you understand comedy. It's hard not to see the irony in so many of these facts.
Yes.
And the hypocrisy.
Yep.
Yeah, Bruce.
Yep.
Okay, so people that you want me to speak. Okay, what should I say? Honeys, I'm sorry I didn't come down to Tallahassee, but Tallahassee is just a bit too bumpkin-like for my tastes, and I do support Charlie, but I was afraid of having an accident in the courthouse. and oh no, my dementia's acting up too, so I'm not able to be interviewed. What's today? Okay.
Oh my God. Oh wow, you would have heard Donna's stomach gurgling in the courtroom. You could have heard a pin drop. I mean, it was just so quiet.
I'd be stinking up the bathroom stalls if I showed up. Everybody would be running away. And I hope the jurors don't convict Charlie. I've given them all gift cards to the hotels and GoPros. Yeah,
Oh
but anyway, I guess maybe someday, if I feel up to it, depending on the verdict, maybe I will do some sort of
I
skit.
would like you to do the call to
Sammy.
FBI,
To Sammy. Yeah.
It wasn't me, and I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
I don't know what you want. What are you calling about? We don't have any
I
money.
can't wait to look that one up.
Bruce,
Where did I read or hear, because obviously I'm watching everybody's channels, that Sammy now is thinking about taking a career in acting because did you hear anything or see anything?
Fancy said that.
Fancy said, okay. And when he does
she
the
talked
tape,
with him.
that's right. Yes. Hi, Fancy, if you're watching. When she talked about talking with him, when Sammy was talking to Donna, you could see him going through what an actor goes through, leading them on, getting strong, coming back, giving them a chance. So yeah, he probably does have acting ability, and that would be the FBI's loss and Hollywood's gain.
Yeah. So, Bruce, do you want to tell us more about your comedy? Like, are you doing any more
No,
special
I'm retired.
events?
I'm 67 years old, although I look 68, I know, but I've been in show business. I started when I was 18 years old, and this is how I looked when I was 18. People always like to get a kick out of it.
That's really you?
Oh my God. What a character.
Yeah, that's me. That's
you're
my
like
first
a character actor.
that was my first headshot.
Okay.
So yeah,
That's
so
a
now
great
I
headshot, Bruce. You're a
Thanks.
star.
Thanks. So I live in Delray Beach, Florida
Froze a
now.
little.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah. So I live in
Yes,
Delray.
now we can hear you.
Now I live in Delray Beach, Florida. And I used to live in South Beach. I used to live near where Donna and Harvey live. I lived about 7 or 8 blocks from there. So when they talk about the icon and they talk about the bump, I know those neighborhoods really well. It was kind of weird when I saw that.
Have you been to that place that used to be Dolce Vita?
Yeah, I used to live. I also lived in Sunny Isles, which is where Dolce Vita was. I lived in Aventura.
Love Sunny Isles.
Yeah, and
I've been to that shopping center in Sunny
I know.
Isles.
I think you talked
Dolce
about
Vita.
that. I lived in Aventura, which it used to all be called North Miami Beach, and then in the 90s, I believe, they segmented North Miami Beach into Sunny Isles and into Aventura. So that shopping center is very Russian, and I would go to this Russian market there. So yes, I know exactly where it was.
I have a Russian friend there.
Yeah.
In the Sunny Isles.
Yeah.
And Aventura is a very nice area. Now, Bruce, I have a question for you. What do you think that, especially in Delray, is a very predominantly Jewish area? What do you think the opinions of the Adelsons will be? Sorry, it's a little noisy in here.
Yeah, we're in the lobby of the hotel.
What do you think the reputation of the Adelsons will be after this trial? If Charlie is in fact convicted, what do you think? Are they going to be ostracized? We're wondering.
It's, first of all, nobody up here knows who they are. Every time I go to an event or a party, I always bring this trial up, and people go, "Why are you so obsessed with this? We don't know what you're talking about." And it's just left alone for dead. So what will their friends think? Their friends will think the obvious, that, they'll, if they're curious at all, they would watch the trial and they can put the pieces together for themselves. It's probably very difficult as it is now, because enough of their friends know something about this, and they're probably isolated in their condo for the past couple of years. Would you want to go out and know that every time you see someone, they might be whispering behind your back? So I don't know what their life is like. But if Charlie is found guilty, if Charlie's found guilty, I'm sure they will arrest Donna pretty quickly after that. So then that would be a pretty big, that'd be a pretty big statement. I think her friends would understand more.
Yeah, that's the word on the street in Tallahassee. And we definitely can't say our sources, but it's definitely the word on the street here. Wouldn't you say, Judy? Donna's next.
Yeah, that's what everybody's pretty much predicting.
Can't say our sources, but
yeah, they're not gonna just stop. Yeah, Donna needs to pack her bags.
Very good news.
Yeah.
During the trial,
Bruce, what's the media?
What's
the media attention like down there?
There's none. No, everywhere I go, I tell
no
people,
media.
No, you said the media attention. Is that what you said?
Yeah, down there near
there isn't any.
No articles.
Oh, well, I only get it through YouTube because we go right to the source. So it may be in the newspapers. I don't know. I don't really read. There's no news. We read the Miami Herald. I don't read that. And I go right to people like you. You're right on the spot, both of you. So that's where I get all my information from. And ML and Fancy Fiction and Carl and John and the whole crew, the whole schmear, as they say.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see. So is this true? Did Charlie say that he didn't think Sigfredo was part of it? Do you guys recall that? I don't remember.
No.
I don't remember that. I think maybe they're getting confused that they didn't think that Katie was part of it, that he didn't think Katie was part of it.
I don't know. I'm still confused about this whole idea, that Katie was the extortionist, but she lied to him and said it was really Sigfredo and Louis, maybe? I don't know.
We just learned today that it was only in 2019
that he found out that, Katie's in on it.
Did you catch that he had said 2003? Did anyone catch that? And she didn't correct him. He said, and I think I caught him saying 2003 instead of 2013, and it was just, she just like let it go because it was just such semantics at that point. So like crazy.
Yeah, please tell me this won't be a hung jury. I feel so sad for the Markels. If that's the case, I think Georgia really dropped the ball.
Can you explain?
Yes.
Can you explain to me, as a layman, what is the difference between a hung jury and a not guilty?
Hung jury means that the jury can't reach a unanimous decision. So ultimately the person could be retried all over again. But in this kind of case, Charlie would still have to stay in jail the whole time,
right,
until he gets a new trial. Yeah, but if he's not guilty, he goes free.
But when you say hung, is it 10-1, or is it matter what the number is?
I don't think it matters what the number is. Yeah. Okay. So that's why you often hear about, people feeling pressured within the jury, to cave in, but there's like one holdout or two holdouts or whatever. So yeah. But if he's not guilty, he gets to go home ASAP. He's a free man. So, and that's, did he mention that Charlie?
Somebody just shook their finger at me and said that I should not be sharing that information. So Judy,
Oh,
is that
okay.
a bad thing? This was like a third person account.
But that's not wrong to say that this is what someone told me.
It was basically like a joke that was kind of hearsay that I'd heard through somebody at
At the courthouse.
And I would never say who the person was or anything, but it was kind of like funny, haha. And a lot of us thought that it was just Charlie saying, "Oh, will this be the van that takes me to South Florida?" And I mean,
Sorry.
No. What do you think?
That ruined the whole trial.
Because
it's not a jury member that told you something. Yeah, I don't think that would ruin the whole trial. But anyway, yeah, I'm
Sorry
hearing
for
a
that
lot of
noise. I can't get this person stop calling me. There we go.
super sticker.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Peanut Gallery.
Thanks. I wonder why it's not showing up here. But
Well,
thank you,
hey,
whoever. Oh, thank you, Peanut Gallery. Yeah, it's weird. It didn't flash up on my screen, but she
So
got a
many
notification. Okay.
So
Well, I'm sorry. We have so many comments. How are we going to cover all this? Charlie did. Oh, see, how did this?
I feel like I'm in court. Like half the time we were reading your all's comments because they're so funny and so much more entertaining than court.
Yeah, it's like we have constant ADHD because we're trying to look at comments, pay
Yeah.
attention to what's really
And now
going on.
Bruce's colorful shirt.
Yes, nice shirt. Oh, look at
And
that cute cat. Okay, Charlie did not limit his laughter to hearing F blank
He
CKER.
loved it when
Yeah.
she cussed. He thought that was so hilarious.
Yeah, that just shows his immaturity. His attorneys clearly told him to not smile, to look right in front of the jury, but he couldn't contain himself.
If anyone thought that was funny, Judy, were you there when he said that? Did anyone like at all smirk or anything?
I don't
I
think
wasn't
so.
there. I would love to know what the jury did when
Yeah.
he laughed at her cussing.
Yeah, I'm not sure because when you're sitting on the right side of the courtroom, you really can't see the jurors' faces that
Right.
well.
Right.
You're just seeing the side of their faces and far away. So that was one reason why actually I enjoyed staying in the hotel watching on the live
Me
stream
too.
yesterday because
It's nice.
I could actually see Charlie's face up close as if I wanted to, and I could see Rashbaum's face instead of just seeing his back the whole day.
I noticed something today, Judy, in that meeting. What is that meeting called? This is why I need
The charge
the
conference.
conference, which I just snuck into randomly. When they went over the charges and then they said, find the defendant guilty, he gasped and took his hands and put them on his head like that. And so did Rashbaum, because I feel like it felt so real. They like went through the emotions of them reading the charges. It was just very powerful to me.
Good. I mean, good for him if he's like feeling agitated and doesn't want to hear it.
It's starting to get for them. And then Ruth Markel had asked me if that conference was filmed because I think we were all confused.
If it was public,
if it was
versus private.
public, and I did see it streamed on Carl's channel, and Alt Mentor and everybody was streaming it.
Oh, so I should go
the
back and look
Tallahassee.
at it.
You can watch
Yeah.
the charge meeting. Yes.
Something else to do tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so much for getting. And I still haven't seen all of Katie's proffered videos.
Right.
Have you seen it, Bruce?
I've seen parts of
What do
it.
you think?
I saw the one, I think it's number 2, the one in the middle where she's in the tall building in Tallahassee. And she's like a normal person. She's very lucid. She's not that stuttering person that was on the trial, on the stand during her trial. So yeah, she seems to be very clever and very smart.
I saw parts of it
Rock and
too.
hard place.
I think it explains some pieces we wanted to fill in. And she did throw Donna under the bus about saying that the Adelsons arrived to Charlie's like an hour before with the money. And that's what she alleges, that they dropped off the money and it was wet because she probably washed it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's just awful, all this extra dirt on Harvey, because I know some people were still thinking, oh, Harvey's just this, quiet dentist in the background while his wife is running the show. But it sure didn't seem like it with all the details we got. And I'm sorry, there's like a group of people in the hotel lobby now, so I hope you guys can still hear us okay. Okay. Don't forget the detail of Lacasse. Wendy's boyfriend said during Miami visit before the shooting that Charlie bragged about having connected friends. Yeah, that's right. So I hope the jury still remember. Well, they were taking notes. People took notes off and on, not the whole time, but that was a good sign. They're paying attention. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so Scott doesn't think she did great. Okay. Southern Hall, thanks for being here. Hungry Drew. Yeah, see, this is why I knew, like, this makes sense that they decided to just cut the day short, tell people to go home now, because they definitely wouldn't want the jury to be pressured to hurry up and make a quick decision just because they want to go home for the weekend. So that made sense. And people were probably happy, like, yay, I got to leave before noon. So, yeah, that's right. If it's a hung jury, he'll stay in jail. Yeah. Let's see. Judy was hung the first time for Katie. Yep, she stayed in jail all those years. And Kawaz tried to make it seem like, see, she really is innocent, because why would she stay in jail for all these years? Yeah. There would be a second trial if it's a hung jury. Defense is ridiculous. Well, I mean, Bruce, how do you feel about the defense? Do you think it's ridiculous?
Of course. There is no defense. What you're talking about Rashbaum, and then are you talking about Charlie's segment or Rashbaum's segment?
Well, their whole defense, which I'm now putting the puzzle pieces together, the whole defense seems to be that perhaps Katie hatched the idea with Sigfredo to kill Dan first.
Oh, you're asking me about
Charlie.
Okay, you're asking me about the details. I think the details are what the prosecution has said. I thought you were talking about the way Charlie was presenting. I will say one thing: when you're learning a play and you have a whole script you have to learn, and you do it by route, and you have all those lines down, I was surprised to hear him just be not bothered by anything. And he went right through. He had an answer for everything. He had a detail. He knew the dates. And when you're in prison all this time, you can't tell one day from another. You don't know night from day. It's just a one-dimensional place. So he has really done his homework in memorizing the script. I'll tell you that.
You know what impressed me? I mean, God, the word impressed is a very strong word. But I was just working on a video about the I love you text, which I found those to be very powerful evidence of why would he say I love you to someone he was being extorted. And then today I think it was today that he explained that he thought she was innocent until 2019. So he really explained away every piece of evidence. But as Georgia pointed out, that over explaining is something that I think the jury is going to pick up on, that there's too many details, and he's, like they said in the phone call, it's too detailed. It's somebody who knows for sure. And in that meeting today, what meeting? Judy,
the charge conference.
The jurors will be allowed to listen to any and all of those wiretaps this weekend, and Monday they can listen to any of them. So this could go on and on forever.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can I just interrupt you 1 second?
Go ahead.
I just saw a comment from the society page, and I cannot pay such tribute as I can. Whoever that, I don't know if it's a guy.
Hilarious. So hilarious.
I think it's a man.
Editing, the thought process, the zeitgeist. You are A++. I don't know where you should be employed by a big studio. So I don't know where you have the time to join us in this tiny little case. Absolute wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, be sure to subscribe to the society
You know,
page.
this person must have access to like some sort of professional B-roll
Yeah.
of like some kind of movie industry, sound effects,
Mhm.
big props. Yeah.
Right, but the
Yeah.
creative side is just as good as the technical side. That's what makes this person so special.
Very good sense of humor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this person thinks Charlie's gonna walk. Okay. Well,
Ooh.
we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I
Yeah.
hope you're wrong.
I mean, we're just making
you know
we're
what?
just
We were
making
just-
guesses.
We were
Okay.
just talking about how well he did about his lies today.
Yeah.
But listen, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Okay. We're fighting for justice. Charlie might get a hung jury. Will get nailed on retrial. We'll get a
Ooh, yes.
Will
They'll have
not
if
get-
they have a year to plan. Oh, you better believe
Yeah.
it. Believe it. Like
Believe
shot
it.
your nipples.
Okay. I remember being disappointed with the cross of Murdoch. He was convicted, so I'm hoping same here. I'm very concerned. How do you all
Yeah.
keep a straight face?
Well, Murdaugh was a lawyer. In fact, I met his defense attorney at CrimeCon, and it was only because Steve Cohen introduced me to him.
Oh,
And I was kind of in shock that he was going around CrimeCon grandstanding for attention, like, you know, kind of showboating a little bit.
mhm. So how did he even have time? Do you think he got paid to show up at the conference?
I think he was giving a talk, but he was kind of like getting kind of publicity too from this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think he's kind of riding that wave, and which a lot of the defense attorneys do in these high profile cases.
Charlie's
Rashbaum.
Yeah. Charlie's excuse of laughter, hearing the F word, was completely undermined by Trashbomb saying it more than a dozen times on Charlie's direct.
Oh,
message.
I must have missed that when we all
Yeah.
walked out of
Yeah.
in protest for Ruth Markel.
Okay, Bruce, would you like to talk some more? What else do you want to say about the case?
Listen, I'm just a person watching it. I don't know legal terms. I don't know technique. You want to talk about comedy? I think I can talk about that, but that's I just am such a super. You know what? I'm a super fan. That's all I am. And to get to meet you guys and to be able to, if I any kind of input it's an honor for me to.
I have
to
a
do
question for you both.
Okay.
What was the most shocking thing that happened? Comical, shocking because it was like just disgusting. Like, what was your most shocking? I could think of a few just crazy moments.
Well, probably those moments that I turned into shorts. Like first, I was like totally shocked and laughing about Rashbaum's opening statement when he like came out with the bombshell extortion defense theory in the prof's blog. You know, like when Wendy was like, "Yeah, you know, he would like be posting on Facebook and on his prof's blog about where he was going." So that was shocking, and then I think it was also kind of not really shocking, but definitely interesting when I saw Luis Rivera staring so intently at Charlie for such a long time in the courtroom. I was like, wow, I wonder what Luis is thinking in his head. Also shocking, but not really surprising, was the way Wendy behaved and changed her story during her direct examination. You know, like changing the story about not driving onto Trescott and acting like, you know, she didn't even really go towards the crime scene, take something like that. Yeah. So what were your moments?
A few moments I pulled out was Wendy said about her mother, that all that behavior, those emails, she used the word bonkers. That was bonkers. And I thought, well, that was a pretty contrived answer. And also when June Mchenda's cell phone went off while she was testifying, they shared a little giggle fest about it. I think shocking, Wendy not wearing the same dress and then having the exact same asymmetrical neckline was just like, I tried to find an asymmetrical neckline. Me and Judy were talking like, where are we going to find this
I don't
dress?
have anything with
But
asymmetrical.
yeah, no, like maybe hand selected by Donna Adelson herself, just kind of June's testimony that was so pathetically just obsessed with Charlie. That was just gross and shocking to me.
Yeah. Plus the fact that she said something to him after she got off the stand. Yeah. Like stood there and said something. She claims happy birthday. There was a source who thought that she had said, I hope you win.
Oh, she did claim happy birthday.
Yeah.
To you, something.
Yeah. Well, she also came on the channel and was upset because she says, no, I paid for, my parents helped me pay for the condo. Here are the receipts. And she showed it on her Instagram.
Now, one more thing. Sorry. And we'll get to you, Bruce, about your favorite thing. Somebody said about there was a witness who had lawyered up. That was something I heard at the meeting today. I don't know what that was all about. It was way over Charlie's head, my head, anyone who was in the courtroom.
What witness?
They didn't have the witness's name, and then the other lawyer, and I don't know which type of lawyer he was. After you watch the meeting, let us know what you think.
Oh,
all right. So Bruce, what was your favorite part? Most shocking?
I'm watching it in a haze. I don't have any special moments to watch it. And what I do know is, you ever watch, you guys are so young. You remember a guy named Alfred Hitchcock?
Yeah. Barely.
Psycho.
It's an old, he was a director, but he had a TV show called Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And the beginning of the show is his profile. And he's got this strange.
Oh, yeah. I know about that.
It's exactly the judge's profile. So when I see the judge, even though he's a black guy, I just see Alfred Hitchcock, and I always have a big smile on my face. So that's my only takeaway from it.
Oh, I think Keenan from SNL. He's definitely a lovable, funny guy. Very charismatic.
He seems so right down the middle and very disciplined at the same time. I love this guy.
I have one more funny moment. I think Rashbaum turned around twice to the gallery and to Georgia and Sarah and offered them either a cookie in a napkin or a piece of chocolate that he'd already taken a bite out of. And I thought it was gross and funny at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I also thought it was funny that Fancy told us Rashbaum actually came up to her and said something like, "Are you your fancy fiction?" Yeah, and he said that she had a lot of talent, and he then walked away and then walked right back and said that he really did hurt his leg because he had, I guess he watches fancy fiction. Yeah, so he heard her. But I mean, that's nice because Fancy did rag on him a lot during her live stream, so he could have been pretty mad about it, but he seemed to have some sense of humor about that. Yeah, and how does he even have time to be watching YouTube anyway?
Judy, are you sad that he didn't come up to you or to me? Have you exchanged any glances? I think I've exchanged eye contact with him several times, but out of respect of Ruth Markel, I'm not going to fangirl over him. I do want to know what his rating of a tennis player is. As a tennis player, but that's about it. I can ask Mentor Lawyer what that is.
Yeah. Well, Mentor Lawyer actually just played tennis. Yeah, they just played tennis today with Rashbaum. Yeah, he said they tied, but it was also sort of because Rashbaum said his back was hurting. Sounds like Charlie, huh? Oh, my back hurts. I can't keep playing.
I heard him say that in the first day. He said, my back hurts from tennis. So I think he kind of he knows who we are roughly, but Mentor and Fancy are closer with him than we are.
Yeah, I mean, I had no interactions with Rashbaum, and I'm not going to go up to people. They're all so busy and focused. So why? I mean, it's not like a celebrity meet and greet.
Is that done in court, Judy? Do people talk behind the scenes to the gallery? Usually not. You're focused on your client and what you have to do and looking at your notes and preparing for whatever you have to do next. I mean, there's no time to so that is kind of weird that Rashbaum had the time to walk over to Fancy Fiction, who he thought was Fancy, because I think she was sitting next to Joel that day. Yeah. So
Anyway, interesting that he's watching us. Okay, there was never any threat from any Latin gang member of killing you, because if they would have killed you, the payments would have. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Why would they kill you off? Yeah, but yet he was so paranoid that he had to get the security cameras and barbed wires and, surrounding himself with guns. Yeah. Bruce, how would you feel if Donna and Wendy and Harvey don't get arrested?
I would feel like everybody else. I would feel that justice has not been served at that point. We all know, or we all seem to think, that they are implicated in this.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just appalling, because these are people who had it all.
Well, it was like dialing for food. It was that movie, Dial M for Murder. I don't know what that movie was about, but that's the title. They just felt that, rough people. Who's that rough person you know? Like that Magma yeah, she's got a rough friend. That's how people of that ilk respond, because a refrigerator guy, get to it, call him. He's good. We'll pay him under the table this way. We'll get a better price. So it was the same thing in this case. What that what's it, Latin Latin King. Call him and see if he'll do a hit. Okay, kill him. Kill him. That's how they talk,
Yeah.
Thank you, Todd, for saying this about my mother in Israel. You're so sweet. And my mother was so overwhelmed with the love you all showed today on the live stream. Even though, and I want to apologize, I cut my mother off way too abruptly. It reminded me for my birthday party when I was a kid, and I accidentally gave my dad the middle finger.
What?
It was a crazy story. He scared us all. Like, he was taking a picture. We turned around and I told my mother, I said, I would never cut you off, but she just she was very passionate. I had to go on with my live stream, but I apologized to her, and I actually put her on the phone later. I said, Mom, you're not mad at me, are you? And she said, no. It was a great speech she gave. She hates Charlie so much. She's very passionate about it, and Israel. She's very passionate about Israel. Yeah.
So are you and your mom still gonna dig into any jail records?
Yes.
What's going on
In
with
fact,
your channel?
I will put in a jail record request for Charlie's Thanksgiving calls. I definitely want to see if he still talks to his lawyer often after this, and maybe if he's guilty, maybe find out who his appellate lawyer is, because we could reverse Google those numbers and find out who that will be, because he'll be fighting this. And I want to know how often he's talking to Donna and Harvey. I'll probably just do the Thanksgiving calls and then his jail infractions for y'all.
Great. Well, so far, he got chastised for not making his bed or not jumping up quickly enough when he was ordered to do something. And
yeah.
What else and then he also complained because somebody took his tablet.
Well, the tablet, yes, somebody threatened to kill his family in the jail. And they know about how high profile it is. So they are stealing his things, kind of blackmailing him in jail, triple extortion, quadruple extortion. And then also somebody was making spitting noises towards him. And I kind of felt like he didn't want to be a tattletale, and it wasn't a big infraction on him, but he's probably getting beat up or bullied.
Yeah. Let's see. So, Bruce, how long have you known about this Dan Markel case? And how did you hear about it?
I don't remember, but I think it was right at the beginning. Well, it wouldn't have been at the beginning because it wouldn't have bled into the papers down here. Yeah, what was the podcast?
Oh, was it Wandry?
The Wandry, but I knew about it beforehand because I was very excited when that podcast came out. And that guy, David Latt, I saw him on a show the other day. He's fantastic. His voice is so wonderful because he's the narrator of the Wandry podcast, I believe.
Yes.
Oh, David.
Really? I don't think
Actually,
so.
Maybe not
He
the
spoke-
maybe not
he
the
spoke on-
Wondery, but one of them. And
Yeah.
because when
But
I heard
he has his own. Yeah, he has his own podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
David Ladd is very well spoken. Oh, Judy, you were so funny in your skit. That was so accurate.
Thank you. Tell me, Bruce. Tell me how I did because
you
you're
did
the
great. I
pro.
told you that already. It's you got to have such chutzpah to be able
So
to
good. Mental
to do that, and you add levity
Yes.
in the middle of all this of everything that's going on in the world and this trial, and it shows the other side of lawyers, that they really are fun people. I knew lawyers in LA, and they used to come to the Comedy Store and the Improv all the time because they all thought, when they were standing up defending their clients, they thought they were like mini comics. Some of them would do jokes, try to lighten up the jury.
Yeah, I mean, Rashbaum seems like the type that could do
Yeah,
some
fun
stand-up
guy.
comedy.
In real life, he seems like a great guy that you'd want to go buy a watch
That's
with,
right.
because he only buys the nicest watches.
Yeah.
And you got a super
Yeah.
sticker,
Oh,
Nettie.
Thank you, Nettie. Really
So
appreciate
sweet.
you guys. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, but then sometimes, like, did people ever get on your case saying that you were inappropriate or they were offended by your comedy? How do you handle
Always.
that? Yeah.
Oh no,
But
never. I'm very a lot of my career after I left Los Angeles to try to pursue stardom, I felt that I could just go on cruise ships and work down here in Florida in the condos just to make a living and not shoot for the high goals anymore. And you have to really be careful of what you say in front of a crowd. You don't want to insult them. Some comics are insult comics, so the audience goes into it knowing that they're going to hear crazy stuff. But the kind of audiences I get, people are on vacation, you're just a show. And yes, I was very aware of not offending people. So yes, got to be very guarded doing that. But if you go to a comedy club in New York City, like the Comedy Cellar and a comic strip, it's wild what the comedians talk about. They say what's on their mind and they make it really funny.
Mhm. Yeah, I noticed from watching YouTube videos of your old performances, you usually made fun of yourself.
Yes.
So I guess that's kind of palatable because people aren't going to be like, "Oh, you offended me," when you're making fun of yourself.
I'm what's called a self-deprecating comedian. Who else would show this idiotic picture of them if they weren't self-deprecating?
Yeah, and I like your joke when you showed this like blown up image of a check and you said this is how much I got in residuals for something you did.
I used to have it on the refrigerator. Yes, it's a 2-cent residual check. But now I get 1 cent residual checks.
It's not even worth the hassle of like having to deposit it into your account.
I do. I got 2 1-cent ones recently, and I have the Bank of America on my iPhone, so I just deposited them. I said, I wouldn't drive to the bank to deposit a 1 cent check, but I just wanted to put the bank through the, what's he doing? What's this idiot doing? I just wanted to go through that with them. So I did.
Yeah.
What was that for? Like a guest appearance or something?
I was on I had parts in a couple of movies and a couple of TV shows, and they were so minor that they paid very little at the time, but by law, it's a residual check. So I may actually be worth less than a penny, but they have to round it up to the highest cent. So I get 1 cent residual checks. Actually, 0.0001 cent, but they give me the benefit of the doubt.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, getting back to this Adelson Dan Markel case here. Yeah. I noticed this too. When she was left with only the female investigator, Katie did offer enough to remain on the payroll. Yeah, they should have done that from the start, because from the first part of the video, when she was in this, it looked like a little room with the male questioners. I was like, that's intimidating. No wonder she was very reluctant. She wasn't opening up. I don't think that was the right thing to do. They should have just had the female Sherry Bennett.
Myrtle Minorca.
Okay, thank you to whoever
10
just did that.
Euros.
Yeah, someone in
Oh
Europe
my
is
gosh,
actually watching
Euros.
us.
Do
Yeah.
you ever see do you ever watch the English lady who
Yes,
commented?
Barstool. Did we get Nettie Daniel too?
Yes, thank you,
Okay,
Nettie.
good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So what do you think about this comment, Bruce? Since you did watch more of the proffers than I did, do you agree or think like having a female police officer do the questioning probably would have gotten more info from the start?
Yes, because I was impressed that she was doing it, and I was commenting live while Mentor Lawyer was showing it, and I said, "Who's doing this? It's very good." And he told me that Detective Sherry, is that who you
Sherry
said?
Bennett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her voice sounds a lot like Georgia's
Georgia,
voice.
yeah.
That's why I
Yes.
asked. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of commenters were like, "Is that Georgia Cappleman talking to June?"
The same,
Yeah.
same twang. It's not a bad twang. It's just a cute little southern, like a drawl or twang.
Yeah. Yeah, right. All the Tallahassee.
Yeah,
men.
and it's so
Yeah.
cute how Fancy's twang comes out. Her little southern voice is so cute. She gets a little more southern when she's in town here.
Mhm. Yeah, it's been great meeting
yeah.
Fancy and all these other huge.
Did you
pros.
see Fancy and Katie Kool-Lady the other day when they drove down the street? That was great.
That was good.
Yeah, I love
That
it.
was really good.
They've gotten
Yeah.
over 13,000 views on that video.
Yeah,
It's great.
really
I have to
impressive.
say, I think
Yeah.
Fancy has a little bit of a lead foot. When that light changes, you hear that truck.
Oh, was she driving?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
knows these streets.
Yeah.
My-
she
my Aunt
actually,
My Aunt Muriel used to drive like that. As soon as the light changed, she was such a sweet woman. All of a sudden, she drove. You would hear the
She's
engine.
a bat
rev
out of
right
hell.
wow. Yeah, Fancy says that she's going to take me on a drive tomorrow. I mean, you can come
Yeah.
too if you want. Yeah.
there. Video it. Yeah, that'd be a great video.
Yeah, it'll be fun because I do want to see these places connected to Dan Markel, like his law school, maybe the bench that's dedicated to him near the tennis courts where Mentor plays. Yeah, the house. Yeah. So she says it shouldn't take too long. So I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do it before I have to go to the airport. As I said, even though they don't have any evidence on me, I'm going to the airport. So maybe I shouldn't have said that because now people will know where I'm coming and going. That's not good, right? Get
Don't
those.
worry about it. I don't think anyone is out to stalk you. Don't worry.
Yeah, there's no Latin Kings coming to figure out my
No,
travel
no,
schedule
not
before
for
Saturday. Okay, so Charlie and Wendy's stories don't match up. He said the morning of the murder, he talked to Wendy about his argument with Katie, and Wendy did not say that at all. Yeah, didn't Wendy say before she was talking about whether to get the TV repaired or whether to buy a new TV with him? But this was so long ago. So how would he remember so clearly what he was talking about? Yeah. So as Tim Jansen said, it was pretty remarkable that he remembered so much detail about all this stuff, like the man being rude to him at Matsuri or acting rude sitting next to them.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
This is a secret, like a secret. I bet you've all thought of the same thing. Tim had that terrible bicycle accident a couple of weeks ago.
Recently.
And you don't wish anybody that kind of thing. But I listen to his mind and I go, if I was Donna, I would hire this guy as my attorney. And then there was speculation that maybe he didn't have a bike accident, that maybe he was going to show up and be on the defense. Obviously, he had his bike accident. But if I were the Adelsons and I was watching the trial, I'd have to hire Tim Jansen. He knows his stuff. And I'd be very scared if he was representing someone in that community.
I don't think he was as biased as I have thought watching him lately. I think he was just wrong about certain things, like about Katie not testifying, about certain aspects of like this proffer meaning nothing and she'll never testify, she's not credible. I think he was wrong about that, and I was definitely skeptical of him as well. But then after talking to people, I don't think like he follows this case because he's in Tallahassee. I just don't think he's as obsessed as we all are every day with the details as much as we are. Do you think so?
He's on that channel and he's narrating, in between breaks. So I think he knows. He's very learned of all this.
Do you think I don't think he's watching every day. Do you think
What are we
he's
talking about? I'm talking about
Tim
yeah.
Jansen, the attorney.
Of course he's narrating every day.
That's true. Well, he was definitely wrong about Katie. And yeah, he was definitely wrong.
And the reasons why Harvey and Donna supposedly didn't have to show up to investigative interview, but that's all water under the bridge.
It's
I mean,
okay.
we're all guessing.
Listen, I'm wrong about things. I thought that there was a text message about a case, and I think I saw cash instead of case. I did see something about the 100K deposits, but it ended up not being any kind of evidence because of Charlie's defense theory. I was wrong. So I'll admit it.
I got a question. And I think I've asked you this, Judy, and a couple of my friends, I got to watch the trial and they asked me, do we all go back to that if that neighbor, Mr. Giles, is that his name?
Geiger.
If Geiger doesn't see the glint of the Prius, would they have figured this out? Does it all turn on that?
They could have. No, I mean, I feel like they could have figured it out because the Prius was also caught on camera at Dan's gym, following him around the parking lot, as well as on the bus cameras. So there were multiple pictures or video of that Prius following Dan and going towards his house. So, I mean, but definitely it really, really helped though, because an eyewitness said, yeah, there was this car. I think he said that he thought it was either silver or white, and he thought it could have been a Prius. Yeah. So it definitely
Pretty good guess.
Yeah, he guessed right.
Definitely a difficult color to identify. Silver pine mica.
Yeah.
Doesn't just ring a bell.
Yeah. Okay. So Kai Ocean really likes Bruce. So how's your life going, Bruce, now that you're totally retired?
I live in a 55 and over community with 2 cats. And I'm retired. It's great. I moved up because Miami, South Beach was too noisy, and I like it here because it's quiet. I like to sleep, and I like quiet. Once in a while, you hear a thud, and you dial 911. They take the body away, and then it's quiet again. And that's
listen, Bruce, I work at a retirement home, so I understand that life is very precious and short, and we have to make the most of it. But Bruce, I have a question for you, because I work at a retirement home. I was trying to guess the medications that Charlie might have been on yesterday. Can you guess what medications they might have been?
Well, let's put ourselves in his position. It's now a year and a half of being in a state. Is he in?
He froze a little bit.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's
yes.
Okay.
So if we put ourselves in his position, we're in the county jail, correct?
Correct.
Which isn't it? And I've heard you guys talk about it's not as bad as state prison, but it's horrible, and I would lose my mind in probably 2 days. So obviously he's on. What would you give somebody like that? A psychotropic like a Prozac, or would you give them like a Xanax to calm them down? So I imagine it's one or the other.
We know he loves Xanax. So I asked a couple of nurses, and who happened to be at the trial, and they agreed it must have been like a sedative, like an Ativan or a Valium, but it obviously was way too much sedation.
Yeah. Let's see. It's already been well over an hour, so we kind of need to.
Wow.
I can't believe we have too much to talk about.
This was fun.
Yeah. Tell us more about what you do with your life now that you're retired, Bruce. While I flash up some.
I watched this trial. This trial's kept me busy. This whole case. I get consumed with reading, and I just look at what I love history. I love gardening. These are weird things. My life used to be being on the road for close to 44 years. So I never had pets. So now I have 2 cats. I never really had a place. Now I have a home. I have a garden. Very boring. I'll put this whole audience to sleep if I tell you what I do. But I make pizza. I cook. I was going to make kettle corn for all of us tonight, but I went to go popcorn, and you know what weevils are? You get weevils
What's
down
that?
here. Weevils.
Oh, those little black bugs.
The little black bugs.
Little bugs.
And
Okay.
I had a problem with. I bought pasta in a cheap grocery store, and I paid the price. It was loaded with weevils, and they got into all my rice and everything. So now I had to learn all about weevils. But I didn't realize weevils ate popcorn. So I was going to make kettle corn for all of us, but not tonight.
Judy brought popcorn, and there's no microwave.
We have no microwave, so
Oh,
yeah.
that's terrible.
So,
In the lobby.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
They have it in the
Huh?
lobby, don't they?
I don't see one.
No.
This is like a kind of like
This
an
is
older.
trial life. You
older
guys,
hotel.
You gotta be creative and find places
Yeah,
to eat,
Find food.
and live stream and everything.
Yeah. Well, so here's a question for you guys. Now, I don't believe that whole stuff about how Wendy conveniently had a printout of the invitation that told her to bring bullet bourbon. I mean,
where is that?
remember during Wendy's cross-examination, Rashbaum brought up a piece of paper and said something like, "Oh, and you have the invitation that you received for to start the bar party, right? Here it is." And it said that you had to bring bullet bourbon.
I could make an invitation on Canva.
Yeah,
for-
we
in
could
5
whip up an
minutes,
invitation from nine and a half
wonder
years ago.
if there's a way that they can just Google that to make sure where that document came from, or
Yeah,
Is it-
I mean,
is
the
it made
state
up
doesn't
proof?
have time. I mean, it's kind of a minor point. I don't think it's that vital, especially for Charlie's case. But I still don't believe it. But
seems like a lie.
yeah, what do you think, Bruce? Do you think that Wendy really did get an invitation that told her to bring bullet bourbon?
Oh yeah, sure. What's it? Restock the bar party?
Yeah, stock the bar party.
Oh, did they ask her for bullet, or did she bring it as a sort of an inside joke? It could go.
Yeah, I
either
think
way.
she just got it as a joke because she
claims
knew Dan was getting killed.
Well, then it's too coincidental.
I have a question. Did Charlie explain the TV? Why he said TV is 5? Did he explain?
No, it was Donna that said it, and he said that he was just repeating it because Donna brought up the TV. I'm like, what kind of dumb reasoning is that? There was no real reason.
Really was no explanation for that. That's what I think. That really stuck in my head, that he didn't explain everything. Thank you for that, because I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but it's hard when the person is obviously so hostile and a pathological liar who just keeps wanting to explain, because you don't want to seem like you're bullying the witness, but at the same time,
Yeah.
You want to point out gently in front of the jury, this is why the person is full of BS. So
Like a victim, like under coercion. He was acting like a pompous a-hole.
yeah, I hope the jury totally saw through him.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean the Charlie who is talking like this wannabe gangster on the wiretaps versus, this Charlie that sounds so upright and so professional and concerned and pathetic, on the stand yesterday especially. Yeah, I hope the jury hasn't forgotten what they heard just a few
I don't
days
think they will. I
before
don't think
that.
they'll forget. No.
Yeah, hope not. Yeah. Okay, please arrest on. Yeah, we hope so. We hope so.
Fingers
Let's see
crossed.
what
That would
happens.
be too good to be true.
Oh, okay. Bruce, were you upset with Charlie and Wendy's testimony?
Yeah, of course. I mean, his was rehearsed. What are you going to do? Am I allowed to say I believe they're guilty? I'm allowed to say that, right? Without getting in trouble. So I believe they're guilty.
Yeah, you think they're guilty. That's your opinion.
That's what people, you come up with any excuse.
So you can't, Bruce.
I froze.
No, but where do you come up with such crazy ideas that Donna and Harvey are guilty?
No, she's being sarcastic.
Okay. What
That's why, again, that's what drew
ideas.
me. That's what drew me to this case. The fact that it was just dial a killer. It's that kind of, call Uber, call the delivery food service, call the hit squad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that where you got your 1 cent residuals from your stint on Dial a Killer? Was that your TV show?
That's right. Dial a killer. I'm sorry that I'm
that was
eating.
the one.
I'm sorry that I'm eating. I haven't eaten all day. And I know you all. I feel like we're like a family now.
No.
So I eat in front of my family. So
It's okay.
Totally, you can eat.
Yeah,
We're
you can't be
drinking
starving.
water.
I'm keeping you over an hour. Okay, thank you, Christina. Christina says she's a nurse. It's very different in jail. They're very cautious in jail as benzodiazepines like Xanax come with high potential for abuse and distribution. Prozac and other SSRIs are used.
Thank you for sharing, Christina.
Yeah, thank you for that knowledge.
I do believe they would probably have to give them sedatives if they're hostile and going to harm themselves or others. I know he was on suicide watch, so that's probably how he got more powerful medications. But I do agree they're probably very strict about it.
Yeah. By the way, Wendy's book was only required reading that 1 year, I think. Yeah, for incoming freshmen.
It's like child abuse to
make those poor kids buy
those
Wendy's book and read it.
Like, definitely abuse.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So love Bruce. Do a live again soon. Okay.
Hey, Helen.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's a frequent commenter, Helen.
Yeah. So Bruce, do you still go to comedy shows just to watch?
I work for an agency called Don Casino Productions, and we book all the acts that you see on the cruise ships. So yes, I'm one of the talent guys. So all the comedians around the world in America, they send me videos, and I determine if they're
Stop it.
and I do all that. So yeah, so I still keep my hand in the business, but I haven't performed in about 3 years, and I'm okay with it. All right.
Yeah. Well, did you ever totally freak out on the stage?
Yeah, I once had. We're not here to discuss me, but I once had a problem where I was on stage and Johnny Carson came into the room, and that never happened. He never went to comedy clubs. This was at the Improv in Los Angeles, and someone didn't show up. I was just a doorman at the time, and I used to go on occasion. I used to go on like 5 minutes to 2. I used to go on after Robin Williams, because Robin would work from 1:15 to 2 in the morning, and if anyone was left in the room, I would go on. So this was a weird night. I was the doorman letting people in, and an act didn't show up, and Johnny Carson, who had never been to the Improv ever in his life, chose that night to come to the club. And he was there. He was also extremely drunk. And he was sitting there with a buddy, and there was no one to go on because someone didn't show up. So the owner, Bud Friedman, selected me to go on stage. And this was my shot. This is what every comedian dreams of, to go on in front of Johnny Carson. So I went on, I did my first joke, and it killed. And I did my second joke, killed. Third joke. My fourth joke, a voice yells out in the back of the room, "You stink, get off," which is the most horrific thing that could possibly happen here. I'm on a bill. It got me so nervous. I couldn't believe what was happening. And I looked to see who was heckling me. And I happened to know who the heckler was. It was my agent's son at the time, who must have been on drugs and must have had a fight with his father. And he started whipping me, and I bombed totally in front of Johnny Carson. It was maybe the worst experience ever. And if you're that,
Bruce.
if you go on YouTube and you Google my name and you Google Bruce Smirnoff one-man show, I tell the story. It's about a 12-minute story. It's one of the most horrible stories you'll ever hear, but it's told funny. It's told deliciously. And
Oh my God, Bruce.
I have a history of having been in the right place at the wrong time, or the wrong time in the right place, however you want to look at it. And I took, instead of being sour about it, I took a lot of my lemons and I turned it into lemonade. So if you get a chance, you watch that and you'll get to know me really well.
Oh, that's okay, Bruce.
Yeah.
You turn it around and you're
I turn everything around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Yeah.
Good,
Yeah, it's great.
good.
That's
But
not
there's
the
so
word.
many people
That's not the
that
word
fail to
story.
be
I have
comedians.
even worse stories.
What?
So watch the video and you'll see. I was hired to be on a show called Archie Bunker's Place, which was the next incarnation of All in the Family. And it was still the #1 show, excuse me, on television. And I got hired to play a prime role on that. Another horror story. You can listen to that too.
Oh, well, what's your proudest achievement? I know this is a random question.
I'm very proud. I'm very proud of my career. I wish I could have become famous, but now that I'm approaching 70, I see that that's not what life is all about. It's all about enjoying the other things. So I had great achievements, but I had real big, excuse me, I had real big flops, and they're very funny.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And I have
Okay,
2 cats.
well,
Great too.
yeah. So, Bruce, do you have to get going?
I have nowhere to go. I'm done. That's it.
All right.
From this,
Well,
I'll go
watch
back
Katie's
onto YouTube,
Proper,
and I'll watch more of everybody else's channel. We got Fancy to watch, ML. We got all the Steinbeck brothers. Just it doesn't stop here. It's nonstop. I'm surprised my computer hasn't melted.
Oh, and then what about the behavioral panel? Like people said, the
I heard that
behavioral
too.
panel picked apart Wendy on the stand, and people
I don't
kept
know.
saying, "You got to watch it. You got to watch it." I have had no time to watch it.
Never
Yeah.
seen the page, but I'd
Yeah.
like to watch it.
Okay,
What page-
and then
what
people
page is that
mentioned
What page is that
the
on?
behavioral panel.
Okay, the behavioral.
That's what it's
page.
called.
Okay.
Behavioral panel.
And also, we got a binge on Katie Kool-Lady's lives from Tallahassee too.
Yep.
Yeah. And then people have been mentioning Law Bell V, but I
Yes.
haven't had time to look at that.
She's
I
excellent.
thought she might be here. I
Yeah.
thought because she's from South Florida. I thought we might be able to see her.
She was
Yeah.
late to the
She was
game.
probably busy.
She's excellent.
She's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's why I find it so suspicious. I don't believe that piece of paper. Anybody can print out a piece of paper and
She
say,
printed
hey, party invitation,
And
bring
the
bullet.
Adelson Institute
Yeah.
off their own printer.
Yeah. Oh, this is a random. Have you ever gone red?
People have called me strawberry blonde depending on the lighting, but no, I've never ever done that. But somebody said not to cut my hair, and I promise that I won't. Long hair, don't care.
Yeah.
I don't get it cut.
Yeah. Okay. Rash bomb brought. Yeah, exactly. I was like, what is this piece of paper? You happen to still keep your invitation from 9+ years ago?
That was interesting that he dropped that info today. That was so defensive.
Yeah. Who books of repairmen coming to the house? I mean, you could, but usually they do have this big window of time. So I would be concerned about missing
When's
the
that
lunch.
guy? I was interested to hear his testimony.
It wasn't really that relevant to Charlie, to
Yeah.
proving that Charlie plotted the murder, but I'm pretty sure it sounds like he was interviewed.
Well, Charlie has explained that this joke was just a big extortion plot. It's ruined everything. His conviction will fix everything back to normal, a reset of the truth.
Yeah. Okay. Too many coincidental puzzle pieces. Yes, they will definitely note because Georgia pointed that out today.
That was a great way to open up her examination.
Yeah, like how are your parents doing? Are they still alive? Are they well? Where are they? You know, like they're in
They're not
okay
here.
health. Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad that she made that apparent, that nobody was on his side.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's scroll down and call it a night because, you know, I do need to get some rest myself and I'm supposed to meet Fancy tomorrow morning.
Your voice
okay.
sounds very good tonight.
Well, it's because you guys are helping to talk, so I can take a break instead of.
Do you know that you can get,
nonstop.
you want to ask your doctor if you can get Botox shots in your throat, because that helps people with laryngitis. Did you ever know about that? Look
I
it
think
up.
someone told me
Sounds
about that.
Scary.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I don't think he can represent Donna. I mean, that's just still seems like a big conflict of interest because the two of them could potentially have a conflict. Obviously, now they've stuck together, but I don't know. I don't think.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine that girl Discoslow up on the stand?
Oh,
we have
Maricel.
to sit through Maricel trying to feed us this same garbage for another 2 weeks, another trial. I cannot.
Yeah, they would
it.
probably get a different attorney because because her website says nothing about regular criminal defense.
Donna thinks she's going to be arrested for the checks for white collar crimes. Not quite.
Yeah.
Hey, Dawn.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Sorry we don't have time to address everybody's comments.
I'm glad we did this. I mean, otherwise we would be out just drinking on a Friday night, right? Right, Judy?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the other option tonight was to go out and booze it up with some of the YouTubers tonight.
It's so interesting to pick your brain with the lives because sometimes we're talking about the case and it's so much more fun to do it. I mean, obviously fun to do it with our friends here, but fun to do it here with you guys and share.
Yeah. Okay, good. Sorry, there's some lag time. Oh, what? My computer is kind of screwed up. Best Buy window of time. What if he wouldn't have? Yeah, I mean, I guess, and unfortunately, this time on the day that Dan was shot, the Best Buy guy actually showed up early or during that earlier part of the window. So that's why I think Wendy did scramble to get a last minute lunch because she had to fill up that time to make sure she had an alibi.
Time stamps on that paper that she was writing. I mean, she so conveniently knows about
hey, Harley. Yeah, so Harley, I actually met him out at the courthouse today. Yeah, so that was great to finally meet you. And he has such an interest in a case that he drove all the way here from where he lives.
His profile?
Yes, pretty much. So just a little bit older because he's retired military. So thank you for your service. And it was so nice to talk to you. And I did get a selfie with him too. I've been getting selfies. Yeah, he's like really tall. So it's like a really crazy picture where he's like totally hunched over and I'm like the little midget, in the picture. So it's been so much fun meeting people and getting to meet true lifestyles.
To see Judy do an Axel in the lobby. We're gonna do some ice skating tricks.
No.
No, I'm gonna show her my Lutz.
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
my flip jump.
You did say you did skate.
I was a level
kid.
4 freestyle. I learned the jumps, not 2 revolutions. One. Can you do 2 revolutions?
I've done them in the past, but I haven't attempted them in a long time because I broke my ankle doing a double flip. Yeah.
Double.
Yeah. It's kind of scary. And there was one time I actually did a triple sow cow at the Berkeley Iceland because the coach told me to just really pull in and cross my legs really tight. So I flipped myself around, but I still fell on the landing. But she was like, "Oh my God, you did a triple sow cow."
I was learning the Axel and I got really scared. It's falling really hurts.
It's scary.
So, you fall down, you get right back up.
Oh man, we missed some good comments.
Sorry.
Yeah, but I do feel like we have so much to do and she has stuff to do for her channel and we got to get up early to meet Fancy. So that's right. He didn't testify, but I'm pretty sure I did see some report or some evidence that the police did contact or talk with that person.
Best Buy guy, call us, reach out.
Yeah. Let's see. So Bruce, have you found any other people around you who know about this case or talk about it?
Every time I go to someone's house and they go, so Bruce, what's going on? And I go, I'm addicted to this trial on YouTube. And they just glaze over. I go, you're not going to believe this. This family in Miami paid a hitman to kill their son-in-law. And they just are going, I got a new car. They don't want to hear it. It is the weirdest thing how this is what I once said to you, Judy, it's like that movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Everybody gets affected by this flying saucer. Not everybody, but these people that live in various parts of the world, and they all show up at that mountain to go on the flying saucer. And I feel like Richard Dreyfuss, that I'm just torn onto this one thing. Never cared about crime, never cared about trials, and I may never. Just this particular situation. But no, when I go to parties and I try to explain it to people, glaze over. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah, same with my real life relatives and friends. Yeah.
Well, I got
so
you
there's
guys.
this woman.
I got my friends. I can do it with you.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to you anytime when I'm not working or dealing with my family obligations. But
and we
there's
have all
this
these
woman
people,
that showed up.
and we have all these people
like all
down
these
below.
people,
They're our friends.
like
There are
300 people in the chat. Yeah. So there's this one woman who showed up at the courthouse, and we were all planning on going out to lunch together. And I was like, okay, so who is this person? Because she came along with us to lunch. So it turns out she was so excited after watching Surviving the Survivor when I was one of the guests that got shoved into the camera. And she was like, I knew I had to go watch the trial. So she bought a plane ticket and flew here at the last minute from the Midwest. Yeah. And she's leaving tomorrow at 6 a.m. So she came here just for less than one day of trial.
Was that to the courthouse with, or one of the girls? I don't know. There's been so many random people.
There've been random people that came up to us, and they're more excited to see Fancy. They're like, you're Fancy Fiction. So we're in the elevator, and these ladies were so excited.
So exuberant, and she is like this. She was a cheerleader. She's like the cheerleader for this case, and her energy doesn't stop. She does not stop commenting and grinding and going up to people. It's very fascinating. It's awesome.
It's really nice to see people. And I actually had this custom necklace made for her. So I gave it to her as a gift yesterday. It looks just like that same style of necklace that Katie wore in one of her pictures when she's like flashing her new boobs and, got this tight ruby red shirt on. Yeah, but there's I don't even know what it says because you can't tell what Katie's necklace said, but I searched all over the internet to try to find that same style. So I got one and I made Fancy one. Well, I didn't personally make it, but I ordered her one. So I was happy to give that to her. So because really it's Fancy and Mentor Lawyer that really started this. When did you start your account?
I followed Mentor Lawyer for about 2 years until 2020, and then probably the same time around COVID, just started grinding out content. Yeah.
So it's definitely been so much fun, meeting people and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I guess sometimes my voice is terrible and warply, other times it's fine, but it really is helpful to have multiple guests so we can take turns talking. It's hard to talk nonstop.
Yeah, I get tired. I did a live for an hour and I had my mom on the phone, and it does help to do a little interlude.
Okay.
Let's see.
Hi, everybody. Did you see my Instagram post? Charlie didn't buy my condo for me, and you guys are all just really mean. It's not nice. You guys get a life.
Judy. Academy Award goes to Judy.
In North Miami, in Aventura, there's Miami Gardens Drive, and it intersects with a street called West Dixie Highway, and that's where the doctor, they call him Dr. Boobner. That's where he has one of his big.
I read that. Yeah. And actually, there was someone I talked to. Yeah, there's someone I talked to who follows the case and said she had actually gone to Dr. Boobner too for some issue.
He said he said I didn't pay for her boob job. Like she said augmentation, and he said I didn't pay for her boob job. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was something. Like, I don't know why
Yeah.
he took it down a notch.
Yeah, and
When-
even June like made it sound like Charlie didn't pay for it, but at the last trial, she said that he had joked that he paid for one of them. Yeah.
Well, and the way that he said the word differently, because June had said that he joked like maybe he bought her one or something, that he's still trying to like degrade that whole situation. I don't know. That's how I took it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Todd, you're behind the times. Don't you know about this whole Dr. Bubner stuff and how, I'm pretty sure Charlie paid for his ex-girlfriend's job also, but supposedly he also paid for Katie's breast augmentation, or at least one of them. Yeah. Figured out who she was. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Okay. So you ready to call it a night then?
Okay.
Okay, I'm
All
sorry.
right.
Sorry, Bruce. Yeah, but I feel like there's so much to do and I haven't been getting enough sleep every night this whole week. And I still have clients that I have been
I'm sure
neglecting.
kids can tell.
Yeah.
It's been a long week, but it was really good week. Let's hope it ends well in
Yeah.
a good way.
Thank you, Bruce. Any closing remarks you want to say while people
I'm
are
so
still
I'm
watching?
just very flattered that you had me on your show, and I got to. I follow True all the time, and I'm like a fan, so I'm getting to meet the people that I follow. So it's all exciting. I think we should all have a party of all the people who've been watching this trial, a victory party, if that
Maybe-
if the case ever happens.
Judy, I mean, I don't know if it's this is not meant to be in poor taste, but as a slam to the Adelsons, maybe a celebration dinner
Yeah.
live when the
Yeah.
verdict is read. We could do like a little celebration.
Eating lobster. We will all eat lobster on the screen, unless you don't
Yeah.
like lobster or you can't eat it or something.
We can have popcorn.
Yeah, lobster, potato salad, paella.
Please do that, Judy. I will be there. We'll
Yeah.
all be there with a celebration dinner and cocktails in our hands, and
And that
hopefully-
big secret gift of paella. Yeah.
hopefully we won't throw
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
at that
We'll have
celebration
bourbon.
dinner.
I don't know if you really want to buy. Yeah, so we'll have a virtual celebration dinner
Yes.
together.
Yeah, that'd be great. I
Charlie's
love that. I
something
love
good.
that idea. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Just
Yeah.
as a slap in their face.
Well, even if he's not guilty, we will still have a dinner, virtual
Absolutely.
dinner.
If it's
Yeah,
a
we'll
hung
see.
jury, this is just more time to plan and plot like they did of what went wrong. We can scour the videotape, look at the tape, Monday morning quarterback it, but I hope we won't have to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Well, Todd is really chatting you up here.
Well, Todd.
Bye, Todd.
You're
Thank you
so
for being
sweet.
such a fan of True Lifestyle. But
Oh,
don't
yeah,
be
she's
stalkerish.
okay.
Don't
She's
be
okay.
stalkerish.
We heard
Oh, hey,
from today.
can I
She's
just say
okay.
one thing? Can I just say one thing? True. When you
That's-
do your podcast with your microphone,
Okay.
you have to go on Google and look what's called over modulation. You sometimes
Oh,
are
what's
over-
going on?
You're
Yes,
over
please
modulating.
help me.
So what you need to do is just lower the volume on your microphone.
Lower the volume. It's too much tinniness.
And yes.
Okay,
And
too tinny.
you can wear your headphones and you'll be able to decide.
Thank you. I noticed it was a little
Yeah.
tin sound. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
All
So
right.
we'll go ahead and say goodbye. Well, Bruce, you can hang on for a second, but we'll say goodbye to everybody
Bye,
out there. Thank you
everybody.
guys for caring about justice for Dan.
Yes.
And paying attention to the case. I'm following all our channels and
Y'all
stuff.
are the best.
Yeah, you guys are great. Thank you guys for the whatever they call them, super sticker things too.
Oh yes. I look forward to the celebration dinner
Yeah.
Tuesday or Wednesday, hopefully.
Yeah. Or
Fingers
at least verdict watch, whatever. We'll
Virtual.
throw up a live
Virtual.
stream,
Yeah, that'll
whatever.
look good.
Yeah. Okay. Have a good evening, guys.
Bye,
Bruce, hang
everybody.
on. Thank you.
Bye.